Thank you, Moss Dagger. I did forget to turn the audio on. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? And also, can you hear the background noise, the background music? Thank you. I've been talking into the void. Today is Panic Design stream because the Caltrop Core Game Jam is no background music. I thought I solved that. I'm not sure how to solve background music for Twitch. I guess I should do some Googling, but that's not for today. Well, in that case, if the background music isn't working, then I'm just going to encourage everyone to play the Speed Racer original soundtrack in the background. That's what I'm going to do. Ooh, Speed Racer video game soundtrack. I bet that's pretty good, actually. All right, so we are turning this into a character sheet. Let's call this, stats, right? Just stats. And we can always figure out what that means later, but for now, that is fine. So we have 3 stats, and we want them to be kind of form fillable. So whatever this one, super good. So these are going to be, fill in the blank stats. Players are just able to type in whatever they want. Because it's a one-shot game, it doesn't have to be that important, and freeform stats I think are really fun. I think that adds a lot of personality to it. Let's expand that box a little bit. Too far. There we go. And then we can also create a drop-down menu of suggested stats if we want. So fill in your own stat or choose one from the following list. So, speed, gumption, thirst, drive. Drive is really good, because I like punny ones, similar to qualities and harrowing. So drive, has multiple meanings. It could be about motivation. It could be about just doing car stuff good. Fighting. I should just look up the list of qualities from explosive. I should look up the list of qualities that I made for harrowing and just see how many I can transcribe. Okay, and then we need players to be able to put points into these qualities. Oh, so first of all, let's unmerge. What, a maximum of 3 points? Like a maximum of 3 skill points feels right. So let's just make check boxes, and then 1, 2, 3. You know, that's how many skill points you have. Players can put a total of 4 skill points into any of their 3 stats. And then this is going to data validation, list from a range, enter a range, and then you go here, and then you just do that. For formatting, you know, you want to kind of imply that the first option is let's call this skills. Make up a skill or choose one from the drop down. Okay, so let's extend this a little bit because we do want it to be. Okay, come on. Do want it to be a little bit bigger. Oh, okay. A little bit bigger. A little bit too big. There we go. Make a skill or choose one from the drop down. Data validation. Yeah. Okay. Bloom, bloom, bloom. And now whatever we write in that list over here will show up as an option. Yeah. Let's make that bold. Okay, so that is that's stats taken care of. Players also, we want a meta currency. Right now I'm calling it momentum. So let's just all caps. There we go. Then we are going to center and vertically center. And then this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 points of momentum feels about right. So yeah, so let's just get rid of those. Merge, merge. Okay, so then players can have up to 5 points of momentum at a time. So that gives us that. We want parts of it that explain the core resolution, and we want parts that explain what you can spend your currencies on and how to get bonus dice. But I think as far as the stats and like what's on your character sheet, that might literally be it. It might just be, you know, how many dice are you rolling with each individual skill? How do you get bonus dice? And then momentum. Which is tiny, because this is supposed to be a one-shot RPG, so that feels good. The pack, of course. We need something for the pack. Oh, actually, that should be rivals. Players are going to create their own rivals. So let's formalize that. Right now we'll just call it a blank box, because I'm not sure exactly what we want. Like, we want them to describe, like, their relationship, their appearance, and, like, a gimmick. Sorry, just a moment. Doing something else in the background. Okay, so we got rivals, and then we've got the pack, and then that's the whole game, basically. And then, of course, I always forget this stuff, but, like, the super basics of you're making an RPG. You need a place for player name and character name. Type player name here. Type character name here. Yeah, and you can see that I did exactly that with the Dungeon Vermin quick start. Although this had a bunch of very good pre-generated names to help with players who might not. Oh, of course, the most not the most important, but we will do the rival. We're gonna move that down, but more important than that is your car's gear. Come on. And your car's gear is going to be special abilities. So gear. choose from the drop-down menu. Sure, that'll be fine. And then here is where we are going to create a bunch of cool car abilities that players can choose from. So exactly the way that we did for the drop-down skills menu, we're going to use the same kind of thing. Let's say that players can have up to 3 gear at once. Validation. Choose a range. Okay, and you can see from the enter the survival horror quick start that we did something very similar, more sophisticated. There's some fancy stuff going on behind the scenes of that, but yeah. This kind of thing, I think, works quite well. So let's copy that formatting. What we actually want... Oh, thank you for... yeah, it's just practice. I had no idea how to do any of this spreadsheet stuff only a couple, months ago. And then I first saw one that really impressed me for ECB, the External Containment Bureau, which is another Forged in the Dark game. It's a new weird game. It's about inspired by things like Control and Gravity Falls and Infinity Train and X-Files and SCP. And they have a really fabulous quick start with a lot of those features from that I just stole. I'm friends with those guys, so I just took a lot of their cool stuff from that and then reverse engineered it and figured out how to do it. One of the things I'm most proud of is actually quite simple. It's just this clock. You can choose what size it is, and how many ticks. And then it populates to each of the pages. And something like that, it seems like it shouldn't be that difficult, but like interdependent drop-down menus, oof, they're annoying. But fortunately, we're not doing interdependent drop-down menus. We're doing a much more simple one. So we're actually going to unmerge this. Ah, boy. Ah, beans. Let's go with that. So this actually, we're removing the data validation. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, this is the name of the special ability, and then this is the description of the special ability. And what we're going to do is basically get a expression which will say that when this is chosen, display the thing that's one cell over. That's what it's going to be. But for now, let's just think of some cool special abilities. First of all, we don't need 1,000 cells, so let's cap ourselves at 100, which is still way overkill, but more manageable. to resize those to 50. Give ourselves some vertical space to play with. There we go. Okay, so what are cool car superpowers? We are inspired by Speed Racer. We are inspired by Mario Kart. We are inspired by F-Zero. We are inspired by, it's all up here. Pod Racing, SSX Tricky, Slug Blaster, which is another great tabletop game, Burnout. So yeah, let's do classic Speed Racer, Spring Jacks, Burnout, Car Jump. Which actually sounds too similar. We want to give players the ability to take control of another car temporarily. Let's just go with remote control. There's actually a wiki page on like Speed Racer car gadgets. It's probably just under the Mach 5 wiki. Yeah. Auto jack. Boost the car up so it can be repaired, but more often used to jump the car. Got it. Belt tires. Special grip tires for traction over any kind of terrain. Mega grip. Spike treads. That's cool. Cutter blades. Powerful rotary saws. Deflector. Seals the cockpit in a bulletproof and crash-proof. Inside it, the car driver is completely invulnerable. We're not going to add that because that's just default. We're playing by Speed Racer movie rules. People don't die in these races. They get encased in like a invincibility bubble. Ever seen Redline? I recommend a Speed Racer adjacent media, at least the opening race. I saw someone linked to, someone else was making a racing game. And their main point of inspiration was Redline. So I haven't watched the movie, but I have watched one of the racing clips, and that is indeed like pretty great energy. I didn't see any gadgets other than nitrous, though. But I mean, we gotta add some nitrous, or at least mega speed burst of some kind. We'll leave it as nitrous for the moment. The illuminating eye. Control for special illumination, which can be traversed singly or in tandem. Enables the driver to see much farther and more clearly than ordinary headlights. That's kind of boring. There's rockets and stuff, too. Rockets are actually immediately better than nitrous. I was saying that one of the goals of this game is that like players will decide what gadgets their car has during the race, and I think that part of the fun is when you choose it, you've had the gadget all along. It's only now that you're using it, and then it's a surprise for everyone on the racetrack. And basically, the touch point is the dumb scene from Pacific Rim where Gypsy Danger has a sword. You've had a sword the whole time. Why haven't you used it? Well, it's because they didn't pick that thing off the list yet. They only just now got it. And so I think that's a very fun idea. Frogger mode, used when the Mach 5 is underwater. I love amphibious mode. That's great. Releases a homing robot bird. The bird can fly and carry pictures, tape recorded message, handwritten message. X-ray film, rope, and small Egyptian statues. That's very good. Scout drone. Homing device. Mach 5 also has a small trunk, which is where stowaways happen. Yep, that's very good. Balloon tires, laser blades, defense shield. I think a defense option of some kind is a good idea. Energy shield. Emergency wire. Oh, of course, a grappling hook. Do you know what else is a great source of inspiration? The weird fucking gadgets on the Batmobile in the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman movies. Because, like, in Batman Returns, he has a gadget on the Batmobile where just the half of the car ejects itself so that he can fit himself into a narrow alleyway. He definitely spent points on that upgrade at that moment because there's no way that the Batmobile was able to do that the whole time. That's crazy. Portrayal in film, auto jacks, grip tires, deflector, rotary saws, howling robot, frog movie mode, evening eye, jump jacks, tire shields, spare tires. Yep. So good. All right, so that's the gadgets from Speed Racer. Let's add some Mario Kart gadgets. Oil slick, love oil slick. Paint gun for coating the windshields of other cars. I want there to be like jaws on the front of the car where like one car can bite another car. Mecha jaws. What else? This is already a pretty good list. And so as you can see, blink, all of them get populated here. So let's actually make that that expression, which will populate. And I gotta remember how to do it, because .007 and Twisted Metal might be inspirations as well. Absolutely. Let's make a separate list of inspirations, because like those, we're not talking about like what I want for the tone, but as far as like wacky bullshit cars. .007, Burton, Schumacher, Batmobile, Twisted Metal. The problem with Twisted Metal is that it's just like a lot of guns, you know? Do they have more creative stuff? Crash Team Racing. What are you doing? Our chair got stuck. Wacky Races, of course. Wacky Races is a primary inspiration. That is so full of bullshit gadgets that, like, seem extremely good. You know what else? Inspector Gadget. He's got a bullshit car. And then I should also just look at Slug Blaster. Slug Blaster is a fabulous little game. It's about using hoverboards in extremely 90s style. So we want the signature items. Slug Blaster is actually a really great point of inspiration. I just should read it. Yeah, here we go. Immediately, these are amazing. Gravity Beam. Like, definitely include a Gravity Beam. Hard Light Board. Inertia Board. Visor Rig. Nega Friction Sword. Roll to teleport in universe by slicing space-time. That's very good. What a good game. Photonic Jacket. Oh, like a camouflage. Reality Cannon. Objectively, like, the best. Reality Scrambling Laser. Like, that's so good. Power Armor. Let's not do like Power Armor or something, but like crash like a battering ram, like something to smash through stuff. You should definitely check out Slug Blaster. I've referenced it before, but the Slug Blaster like premium edition, because they ran a Kickstarter. The premium edition, everything comes in like a pizza box, and then the pizza box is the GM screen, which is the greatest idea of all time. Like, it's so good. Rift Ninja Sneakers, phase through walls. Matter Phaser. Robotic Companion, very good. Like a bag of holding? Would that be fun? Of just like, you know, being able to like have a trunk and it can shoot any manner of bullshit out. Like, you know. That seems fun, but maybe too good, like too broad. Because it's just like, oh, there was oil in the trunk, and then now I don't need to get the oil slick because I have something that's just more flexible. Yeah, I'm talking myself out of it. Grind. Grind rails. Great. This feels like a really good list. That feels very good. A lot of this is just going to be fictional. Oh, Caltrops, of course. Thank you. Caltrop. The Caltrop core. Yeah, so a lot of this is just going to be fictional permission. You know, it's not about like giving specific abilities. It's just saying that your car can do this bullshit. All cars have like a default level of bullshit that they can do. They can all do car karate of some kind. They're all doing the Speed Racer movie like 360 spin drifts. But these give you extra stuff on top of that. Yeah, so that feels great. Oh, yeah. And you can have up to 3, which maybe that means that you get to pick one piece of gear per lap. And that seems fun. Because then you've always got some new bullshit to try. Yeah, that feels good. Okay. Now I gotta actually get down to brass tacks. So I need to figure out two things. One, what is momentum mechanically like? And I think that I need to just read Slug Blaster and remember how they handle stuff. Yeah, for Slug Blaster, your gear doesn't have stats or affect your numbers. It simply allows you to do things you couldn't do without it. It's fictional permission rather than, like a move empowered by the apocalypse. Everyone rolls no action ratings. Everyone rolls 1d6 for everything by default, but can choose to boost dice or kick certain special abilities, which is not a bad idea. No. Oh, I forgot. Trouble. Yeah, that was Slug Blaster's version. Let's pull up the Slug Blaster Quick Start. No. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the Quick Start. Where's the Quick Start? Maybe it's in the full version of Slug Blaster. Look at the pizza box. Look at it. Love it. There's definitely a quick start somewhere. Damn. Well, not a huge problem. But it does help you get perspective as to what they think is important, Hoverboards, portaling gear, epilogue. Right, so the way that Slug Blaster handles like their stress thing is basically you get trouble. And you can spend the entire game, doing whatever, but then the epilogue is determined by how much trouble you've accumulated, which is a really neat, risk reward of, I'm going to get some trouble to do a sick stunt, but then at the end of the game, you get arrested by mall cops. That kind of thing is pretty fun. The game, starting the game, running the game, ending the game. Progress tracks. I love, instead of clocks, Slug Blaster uses horse. That's so good. Disaster rolls. Oh, that's quite good. Okay, so this is very similar to how Dungeon Vermin handled it with the expiration point, where you have a number, and then if you roll over that number, under that number, then bad stuff happens. That's quite good, because before I was thinking that, it should be like Blades in the Dark, where you can overfill your stress meter, and then you get stressed out, and you take an affliction, and then something bad happens, and you're out for the scene. I thought that would be pretty good, but it would move you to the back of the pack. Maybe something like this would be a better fit. This is just some very good random tables. Love that. Love threats. These kind of random tables I find extremely useful. These are, the playbooks that players have. And I don't want to do playbooks. Playbooks are more complicated than I'm interested in. He has a total of 6 trouble. Style, I don't remember how style works off the top of my head. A notes section is always good. Yes, please continue. Okay, let's conceptualize. Let's rename that. So now there's danger, and you can, or like pushing your car, past its limit, overclocking. There's a car word for that, but I can't remember it. So you can have from 1 to 5. And if something... Nope. This is Caltrop core, not Forged in the Dark. So that math doesn't work out. Okay. Okay, if I'm encountering friction, I'll just loop back around to it. Let's think about rivals. Players are going to come up with a couple different important details about their rival. So they're going to come up with appearance, personality, and gimmick. And maybe this will be another drop-down menu. We could pre-fill some of these categories. But we can leave them blank for now. It's the... Oh, and name. Obviously. A random generator would be really good. I wonder if Google Sheets can handle random generation. Oh, maybe. That would be exciting. But that's not a problem for today, because we just gotta finish a game for a game jam. Okay. How do rivals come into it? I think it's like once per game, the rival's allowed to do some real bullshit. And no, that's not true. What it is that when you use your gimmick, no. Okay. I think it should be consequences. So I think this ties into the pack. How does the pack work? And this has been the thing that has vexed me the most, because what it kind of should be is, let's say there's 3 players, so a total of 4 people, 1 GM, 3 racers. That means that there are a total of 6 positions, because it's always in a 1v1 teams race. So if it's 3 players, that there's 3 rivals. There's 6 people in the race, which means there's 6 positions. 6 positions. And then you have a token marking who's in what place or something. But then if first place stops being in first place and they move down to second place, well, that's not true. They're still in first place. All of them move up because it's all relative. So we want to abstract it. We want it to be, and as I've talked about in previous streams, we want relative positioning, not absolute positioning. So that means that there's just 3 positions: lead, body, and tail, rear. Right. Well, maybe we want 5 positions. It's going to be 3 or 5 positions. It's going to be one of those 2. It's going to be 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we want a sliding scale of players able to move up and down. And it needs to work for multiple numbers of players, whether you've only got 2 players or you've got 6 players. So, because if you have 6 players, that means that you would have a potential of 12 spots, and that's just too many. I don't like that. So, we've got 5 positions. The middle 3 are the body, 1 is the lead, 5 is the rear. What does let's answer some of these questions. What does advancement looks like? You choose 1 piece of gear per lap. What is the resource that you accumulate or spend to power cool stuff? Still don't know that. How do we encourage players to take risks? Still don't know that. What do complications look like? This has been solved with the playing card deck, which I don't completely love the playing cards anymore. I feel like it's not entirely necessary. Rivals are consequences involving your position. Oh, that's that. Okay, maybe that's the answer. So, okay, well let's create. Maybe this is dumb. Maybe a table is unnecessary. Let's create a table. 1 lead, 2 body, 3 body, 4 body, 5 rear. Nice, they're all 4 letters, tidy. For the lead, so okay. Insert row above. No, insert row above. Position, consequences. So if you are in the lead, consequences on a mixed success. Lose the lead. Move down 1. Move down 2. Down 1. Move down 1. Move down 1. No change, because you're already in the rear. You can't go farther back than the rear. Hi, June. Got a kitty cat. So I'm rolling dice. I've got 3 dice. I'm in the lead. I want to do a cool stunt. I get a mixed success, which means that I do get to do a cool stunt. But what does that mean? This is not fun to watch on stream, because it's just literally me like thinking through how to play, what the actions are. Let's say that you're in position 3. What do you want to do? Obviously, you want to move up in the pack. You want to roll dice. You want to roll high in order to advance forward. Makes sense. But if you're in the lead, you want to maintain that lead, which means that success looks like nothing happens, which kind of sucks. So I think there's really kind of 2 things that players are doing. It's advancing themselves and pushing back opponents. I think for rivals, I think it really might just be as simple as gain bonus dice when engaging with rival. I mean, is it that simple? Kid Nick is raiding with a party of 3. That just showed up in the chat, and I have no earthly idea what that means. Hello, Kid Nick. I don't know what raiding with a party of 3 means, but welcome. I assume that means that Moss Dagger has left the chat, which is sad. But happy to have you. We are working on Mach 5, my Speed Racer Caltrop Core Game Jam game that needs to be done like today. And I'm just trying to work through like what the actual game looks like. What does my viewers are now here? Oh, it says I've only got 1 viewer, so cool. What's up, your viewers? I'm currently trying to solve 2 problems. 1, player characters have rivals. So I've been working on this quick start. Hell yeah. Looking forward to seeing like the 150 or whatever Caltrop games that are going to come out tomorrow. It's gonna be nuts. But so here's what I've got so far. Player name, character name, obvious, easy. Skills. Skills are freeform. You can type in whatever you want, but we also have suggestions and a drop-down list. I'm going to work on those. You have 4 points to spend across your 3 skills. So you can do that, you can do that, and then you are going to roll a number of dice equal to that, basically. Overclock is my current meta resource, similar to Stress from Blades in the Dark. Gear, players will be able to choose, every lap they're able to choose a new piece, like a new car gadget. And I have like a pretty buck-wild list of things here. They're just going to be fictional permissions. I'm not going to write like, you know, like a move, like a Powered by the Apocalypse move for each one. But I think that's going to be fun. And then players also create a rival. And races are, you know, however many players are, there's an equal number of rivals. So if there are 3 players, it's a 3v3 race. And it is team racing. So that's important to how it's going to resolve. Trying to think of what happens with rivals. Rivals, I think players should have a bonus when racing against their rival if they're in the... Thank you, I love it. Thank you, June. Okay. June likes to get on my keyboard. This is June. Say hi to June. Hi. Juniper Bucket. That's her full name. She's a good cat. A little bit of a pain in my ass. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tabletop RPG. That's very good. That's very fun. So, players create their rival. They get a bonus while racing against the rival, but also the rival should be able to do some dumb bullshit to them. Which, is that just a matter of, like, the stakes are raised where, like, you have an advantage against them, but if you blow it, then you really blow it? You know, in Blades in the Dark terms, you know, increased effect, but at a riskier position. Maybe. I don't think that we're going to do, like, position and effect or anything for this game. We want to keep it real simple. It's just a matter of whether you do the thing. Okay. So working through the pack, what does it look like? So the racetrack is randomly generated with a deck of playing cards, and it's divided into 4 sections, and you do 3 laps. So a total of kind of 12 encounters. New complications are introduced in the final lap, and also every player has like something else that's going on. So I made this great little list of complications. Is there a way to heighten narrative focus around rivals instead of changing difficulty? I think that should be it. Like, you know, I think that, like, mechanically incentivizing, like, monologuing or calling your rival would be really fun. I think that's a good idea. Like, some kind of leading question as part of, you know... What are you doing? For some reason, it's, there we go. My keyboard was off. Once again, thank June. What did your rival do to earn your ire? Like, that automatically, like, does quite a bit. Let's change appearance to a focal point, like the most distinct part of how they look. You know, it's like, we don't want appearance to be like they're 6'3" and they have blonde hair. We want, like, they have an eye patch with a jeweled skull. You know, they have a helmet shaped like a viper with fangs coming off of it. We want, like, bullshit appearance. We want gimmick appearance. We want, like, there's a word for it. If someone in the chat knows what it is, I'm open to it. That's a placeholder, which means that I can remove just the gimmick question. Personality, I feel like, is important. You know, aloof, hot-headed, Fury Road. Let's add Fury Road to my inspiration list of wacky bullshit cars, because there's some good. Let's also add to our list of cool car abilities sound stage, so you can you know, blast some rad tunes. And now that shows up here, and then we'll fill in, you know, exactly what it does soon. Let's change name of rival to nickname, because we don't want Doug the Racer. We want the Viper. We want Candy Cane, but with a K. You know, we want goofy names, so that's better. Okay, let's bounce back to the pack. There's a lot of bouncing around going on, and I apologize for that, but it is a matter of, like, we're trying to solve a lot of design problems quickly, and I'm trying not to get hung up on anything, so I'm just bouncing around wherever inspiration takes me. So, moving in the pack. If you're in the lead, you must succeed on an action roll or lose or move down in the pack. Maintaining your lead is difficult, and you have to work for it. If you're in the rear, you get plus 1 dice to all actions. We want a little bit of rubber banding. If you're in the body, which maybe we should change lead to head, because then you have head, body, rear. doesn't matter. If you're in the body, you gamble a resource. I mean, there should be a matter of risk and reward for, like, how much you advance. But it's small numbers, which means that normally you're trying to advance one space, advanced one. But if you risk something, you can advance 2. I don't think you should be able to advance more than 2 per race segment. Because 3 is, going from 3rd position to the head of the pack. And the odds should either be really long, it should take some real work to do that, or it should just not be possible. You know what? I think you could move up to 3. I think that would be... on a full failure, which is rolling a high 1, all players move down 1 space in the pack. Harsh. So Caltrop Core, similar to Forged in the Dark, is a game where it's the DM is not actively rolling against the players. It's just players declaring actions, and then consequences determine basically if the enemy moves, if the opponents get to do something. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, so... consequences on a mixed success. On a mixed success, you hold position, but your rival advances. Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, that solves it. That's... okay. On the body, on a mixed success, you advance, but so does your rival. On a mixed success, you advance, but your rival does not. Hi, June. Right on top of everything. Yes, I know. I see you. I see you like Avatar. Like the blue person Avatar, not like the good one. Yeah. Okay. So what... oh, okay. I accidentally did do a Powered by the Apocalypse. This is a move. This is a move called Advance in the Pack. No, it's just called Pedal to the Metal. So on a full success, you do what you want. On a mixed success, you advance, but so does your rival. And on a failure, you go back a position, and your rival advances. So what are the moves? There's pedal to the metal where you're trying to advance, and then there's also knocking them down, knocking them back. Car combat, preventing someone else, dropping an opponent's position. Car combat. Okay, so if you're at the head and you try to do car combat, because you're not focusing on pedal to the metal. Thank you. I accidentally typed in the name of that one Adventure Zone arc. And feel free to nitpick. Thank you. I appreciate it. So you lose position, but you knock an opponent back one position. Pedal. So yes. And so with this, like a car gadget could be that you can engage in car combat with a car that's ahead of you in the pack, which normally you couldn't do because in Speed Racer you're doing car combat by like spinning around and knocking into each other. But if you have like a laser cannon, bzz, you can attack someone who's ahead of you in the pack. That's great. I like that very much. If you're in the body, you hold position and knock an opponent back one position. I could just, lump these together in body. I don't think there's going to be a difference between positions 2, 3, and 4, but for visualizing purposes, it is useful to have the 5 slots rather than the 3 slots. And if you're at the rear, you advance and knock an opponent. Okay, so if you're at the rear and you engage in car combat, first of all, that means someone else has to be in the rear, which means they can't go any farther back. So you get to advance. You advance in position. Okay, we can add a little bit more granularity. If you're in 4th position, car combat is really good. That's a good choice. But it's less important in positions 2 and 3. So that means that, like, towards the back of the pack, you're going to be doing more fighting, and then when you're at the head of the pack, you're going to be pushing. That makes sense. Cool. What else? And then, the other action that you're going to take is going to be using your car's gear to do stuff, or does your car's gear only modify actions? I think it might only modify actions. Is there anything else that you would do other than push forward? or fight other cars. I'm not sure there are, because so let's say that you have you've got a scout drone, okay, and you want to launch it to get a clearer view of the racetrack. What that's going to do is, let's just make it up. Gain 1 overclock. Overclock is an awkward word. I mean, there's a car version of overclock, of like pushing your car too hard. Gain 1 overclock. I'm going to be wrapping this up in just a couple minutes, so I think at 4:30, that's going to be time. I'm going to still be working on this, but that'll probably be all I do for streaming. Gain 1 overclock, and you gain plus 1d to all to future rolls on this section of track. Which is not requiring a die roll, you know. As far as actions that you're taking, as far as what you're doing, it's still a matter of you're pushing forward and you're fighting cars. That's kind of what you do. Energy shield. Is there ever a time that you would need to defend against an attack? So maybe that's another thing that rivals can do. Maybe rivals can, you know, once in a while, you want to put a cap on it of some kind. They can, like, take the initiative and then players have to react. So, what's that called in Powered by the Apocalypse? It's like, avoid danger, sense danger, defy danger. Defy danger. Yeah, because there's also going to be environmental obstacles, like avalanches and volcanoes and stuff. And that might be important as well. But does that necessarily matter? But does that necessarily matter when it comes to position? You know, is that treated more like a traditional Blades of the Dark roll? No, I think it always matters, because, like, if the consequence is you lose position, if you're in the rear, you can't lose position. But you could also just say that you can't go lose position farther than the rear. So maybe that's not important. I think defy danger makes a lot of sense as far as... Yeah. Okay, so rivals... Rivals have a way of going on the offensive. And maybe part of that is, you know, kind of like a devil's bargain, where... No, not a devil's bargain. Like in Fate. Compelling characters, where it's just like, hey, you can remove 1 point of overclock, but the rival is going to get to act. Or maybe it's like harrowing, where there's like a meta currency that the GM gets. The GM can spend those points to have narrate the rivals do some shit. That's not bad. I will consider that. Oh, you know what's another problem to solve? How to prevent players from using the same action for everything. Moss says, love seeing your Forged in the Dark influence in your design for Caltrop Core. Mine was definitely more Powered by the Apocalypse inspired. What can I say? I love Forged in the Dark. Forged in the Dark is just where my brain is at. It just like, Blades like was like such a moment for me of just like reading a book and just being like, this solves stuff. Like this flatly fixes it. You go on a D&D subreddit and people are complaining about, you know, whatever mechanic, and it's just like Blades just solves it. It just figured it out. It fixed it. And like, yeah, bringing like those design lessons forward has been really rewarding. Enter the Survival Horror, if you haven't checked it out, I think has like some really cool design in it, and it just, you know, a lot of that is because it's based on it's a Forged in the Dark game, and it's just building off of that really solid foundation with some cool stuff that I added as well. Okay, I think that we made some really good progress here. I think that the pack feels pretty good. I think that like these core actions make sense. Is it fun though? That I'm not sure. But that is where it's going to be left. I've got to go pick up my wife from work and also figure out how much more time I have to work on this. This is going to be my evening. Cool. Thank you so much to people who came and chatted me up. I really appreciate having a couple people in the chat to bounce off. If you ever want to join me in the chat and talk out loud, you can go to the Boo Cherry Discord, which is the Discord that I have for all of my games. And then when I'm doing this, I just have a open Discord channel, and you are welcome to jump in and chat up and bounce ideas off. Yeah, so consider that in the future. I'm going to be almost certainly streaming tomorrow, but then I'm probably going to start moving to like a once a week schedule just due to vacation coming to an end. But this has been fun. This has been rewarding. Talking out loud it's basically been rubber duck debugging, if you're familiar. Just talking out loud can be beneficial to the creative process. And it also encourages me not to get too hung up on any specific problem that I'm encountering. So, with that said, later.